Hello and welcome to another pen video from me, Penultimate Dave. So I have here another pen unboxing for review. This is a pen that I've actually had in my collection for some time now. This, as you can see here, says Parker, established 1888. 8 in Chinese culture is actually a lucky thing, so that's why you see like 88 or 888 limited edition runs. So 1888 is actually, I think, fairly lucky as well. Although Parker isn't a Chinese brand, or at least not yet. It's more of a Western brand, a UK, a US. I think now more of a French brand. But let's unbox this pen. It comes in this really nice box here. And you can see there, Duofold, an emblem of Parker's heritage, a symbol of excellence. Since 1921, Duofold remains the most distinguished pen in Parker's discerning lineage, driven by a commitment to superior craftsmanship. Every detail of a Duofold is carefully thought out and executed. From the emblematic design of the emblemized 18-karat solid gold nib to the precious metal finishes, each piece is meticulously brought together by hand to ensure the finest writing experience. So if I remove this little plinth, you'll see here it comes with a little Parker Care booklet, and it goes into rollerballs and fountain pens as well. It's got a little bit of a rubbery texture, as all of this does. Quite nice. And then you have a cartridge here as well. Typically, I don't use the cartridges. I'm not a cartridge person. I used to years ago. You do get a cartridge converter, and here is the pen. So this is a Duofold Prestige Black Chevron. So I think let's just close that box up, and we'll take a little bit more of a detailed look in this pen. So this is a Parker pen. If you've seen my videos before, I have had the Parker Duofold Prestige Blue Chevron, which I really do like. And then I picked up this black Chevron, which was going at a really good price. I have also wanted the, I think it's called the brown or burgundy Chevron, but the price for that is actually a little bit more than I want to pay for it. I do like these Parker Prestige Chevron pens. They are made of metal. They are very weighty. I just don't write with them as much as maybe some of my other pens. Now, you can see here that you do have that cap finial there, and it does say Duofold or Duofold. It's a ruthenium trim, so it's a black ruthenium plated trim all the way around. You've got Parker there, and then France, as I had alluded to. Pretty much Parker has moved to France in more recent years. But you do have this beautiful chevron pattern. Now, the only thing that I will say about this pattern is the cap is obviously going to be wider than the body. So the pattern will never quite line up between the cap and the body. And even if you try to line it up, at some point it is going to misalign itself again, because the cap is thicker than the body. So you do need to bear that in mind, but I do like this pen. It's flat top, as you can see. Duofold 18-karat gold nib there, and you do get, I want to say this is an ebonite feed, but I'm pretty sure it's a plastic molded feed. I'm not sure that Parker do ebonite feeds anymore. But you can see in the size of my hand, this is actually a really good size. There's a very long section here. It flutes out towards the end. I don't find this metal slippery or shiny. If I can bring this up, you might be able to see that it's got like a brushed effect going on, which actually does help in terms of not having it slip. Your fingers slip off that section. If I unscrew, you'll see there it does have a converter. So you can use cartridges if you so wish, or you can use converters. Now, there is a rubber O-ring on these, and I think it's really more there for a more tighter closure. So when you get to this point, it gets a lot more tighter to screw it up fully. Now, can I post the cap? I can do. It posts, I wouldn't say deeply, but definitely securely. I do kind of feel it's a little bit back weighted because that cap is made of metal, so it is quite heavy there. But you do have, I want to say, let's have a look here. The threads are plastic inside that cap, and it's not a thick cap, but you do still feel a little bit of weight to it. But in the size of my hand, this is actually quite a nice feel. I do like these Parkers. I actually at one point thought that these were too small for me. I'm not quite sure why I thought that, but I think it's more when you have the cap on, like so, it does look a little bit of a shorter pen, certainly compared to a lot of the pens that I have in my collection, like if I put it into a pen tray. And you'll see that in a little bit. But I do like these Parker Duofold Prestiges. I wish they did them in more colours. I really do wish that they did one in maybe a burgundy or a bright red, maybe a lighter blue, a green. I don't know why they haven't. It might be because they just didn't sell that well. I don't know how many of these they sold because it's not a limited edition run of a pen. But I wish they made more of these. And they make a lot more of the Parker IMs. And I'm trying to think of the US version. I can't think of what they call it in the US, but it's an interesting pen. I like the pen. I just wish there was more variety to this pen. So I think with that, let's do a weight check. We'll do a size check. We'll do a weight check. We'll do a pen comparison, and then we'll do a writing sample. So the full length of the pen is about 138 millimeters in length, and the length of the cap is 62 millimeters in length. So I think that's why that 138 millimeters in length, it's not one of my longer pens, and I think that's part of the reason why I at one point thought that these might be a little bit too short, and I wouldn't want to go any shorter. The length of the pen to the tip of the nib is about 129 millimeters. So again, 130 plus is what I normally would call an oversized pen in my hand. So it really is a decent size. I don't like going below 125 millimeters because I find that a little bit too short for me. But 130 or thereabouts, I do find is actually quite good. So I think with that, let's do a weight check. Now, this pen is uninked at the moment, but I'm going to ink it back up. This is just under 52 grams in weight, so this is quite a heavy pen. It's certainly not the heaviest in my collection. I have pens that are 80, 90 grams in weight. I think I even have some at 120. The weight of the cap here, we're looking at just over 16.5 grams in weight. And then the weight of the body uninked, we are looking at just over 35 grams in weight. It will be, once inked up, you're probably going to be, yeah, probably another gram per milliliter of ink. So it's still going to be around about like the 34, 35 grams in weight. But I really do like these pens. They are beautiful pens. And I will probably pick up the brown one at some point, but I just need to find it for a decent price. These pens typically will retail anywhere from around 500 to 650. I have picked my blue Chevron up for, I think it was about 450. This one I picked up for less than that. And the brown ones at the moment I'm seeing are for like 500, 600. and I'm not going to pay that for it. I just don't think I like the pen, but it's not that I don't think it's worth it. I'm not prepared to pay that for that pen. I will for other pens. There's nothing that really puts me off this pen. It's just that I know what these pens sell for a lot of the time. So if I can get it cheaper, I will. So I think with that, let's do a comparison with other pens. So from left to right, we have a Benu Euphoria Earl Grey tea. We have an Anoto Charles Dickens David Copperfield. We have a Jinhao 1919. We have an Anoto Great Roof Metallic Edition. We have the Parker Duofold Prestige Black Chevron. We have the Mont Blanc Writers Edition Jules Verne. We have the Parker 130th Anniversary Around the World. We have a Marjon P138 piston filler. We have an Anoto Charles Dickens Christmas Carol 2023. And we have an Anoto Flying Scotsman. But you can see here in terms of length, it's just slightly less than what an Anoto would be. And I typically prefer slightly longer pens. So I think that's the reason why I probably wouldn't want to go much shorter, and it's also probably about the same length as that Parker Duofold 130th Anniversary pen as well. So I think let's do a writing sample. So this is the Parker Duofold, and it's the Prestige Black Chevron. And this, I'm just going to double check the nib. So this is a fine 18 karat gold nib. And I didn't have the option of getting a medium nib on this one. When I bought it, it was just bought as seen. The ink in here today is Diamine Earl Grey. Now, I do find these nibs a little bit more on the rigid side, and if we do some line variation here, some vertical lines, I'd definitely say that's probably a little bit, I'd say a Western fine to a Western medium. I can push it a little bit more and get a medium to a broad out of it, but I'm not going to get much more than that out of this nib. And if I do some more vertical lines, you can see there's no hard starts or skips there. Now, in terms of ink wetness, let's take a look. This is quite a wet nib that you can see there. So, what do I like? What do I dislike about this pen? So, I'd say I like the Parker brand. I like the Parker Duofold, and more particularly, I like the Parker Prestige Chevrons. I wish they made more of different colours of these. Unfortunately, you've got the blue, you've got the black, you've got the brown or burgundy, depending on how you see a seller listing it. And then there's a ruthenium one, and I know a friend who has the ruthenium one, which is more of a silver colour. I think it's ruthenium, maybe it's millennium. I think this is a ruthenium plated. So I think a friend has the millennium version, which is the one that I really like. Yeah, I just double checked. It is the ruthenium version is the one that I like, which I don't have. Even though this is the ruthenium plating on it. So the issue that I have is that you cannot... I think they didn't make many of the ruthenium ones, and they are mostly in Japan, and they're selling for £1,100-1,200, which I do think is insane, and I wouldn't be paying that price. But I know a friend that actually managed to find one for a really good price. I'd love to add that one to my collection, but and I'd like to add the brown one to my collection, but I'm not going to be paying that kind of price. Um, I guess one of the things that I dislike about this pen is the feed, as I showed you earlier on, is very thin. There's no fins on it. So you will find, and you can probably see there's ink pooling. And sometimes you can find that the ink will pool and it doesn't have fins to sort of wick away that pooling of ink. And sometimes it will burp a little bit of ink onto the page. Certainly when the pen has been inked up. So that, I would say, is a downside to the pen. Just means you need to sort of wipe off the nib a little bit after filling. Otherwise, you might get a burp or two. I do like this pen, and I do like that I added this to my collection. I definitely would like the ruthenium version if I can get my hands on it for a good price. And I likewise the brown or burgundy version. I'd like to try and add that to my collection at some point. But again, I'm not going to pay over the odds for those pens. If I can get them for a good price, I will do. If not, I'm happy just to leave them for a period of time and look at other pens. But I do like the Parker Duofold Prestiges. I do like this one. So that's my unboxing and review of the Parker Duofold Prestige Black Chevron in a fine 18-karat gold nib. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next pen video. Bye-bye.